with me. So I'm going to talk to you today about the Yorkshire Integrated Catchment Solutions Programme, or iCASP for short, because it's a list of a mouthful, and the work that we have in relation to natural flood management. So iCASP is a really exciting programme hosted by the University of Leeds. It's 5 years in duration and it's funded by the Natural Environment Research Council. And our main aim is to help translate the existing data and science and evidence that we have hosted at the universities and also our partners into real-life economic and societal benefits. So we've had a lot of discussion today about all the information that's already out there, and the same is true for a lot of the academic research. It's normally hidden behind a paywall or in a language that actually can't be read by anyone unless you're a specialist. So one of my roles is to actually help translate that information and make it usable. So it's a real user-driven led programme that is actually driven by our stakeholders, so the problems and challenges that they're facing, making sure that we've got the science and evidence to help back up their problems. So we are using existing environmental science, so we are not allowed to go out and do new research, which means that we've got a wealth of information already ready to use. So we hope to help inform policy plans and strategies, make sure that there's a real uptake of that environmental science and the latest science that we've got from universities, and help to generate benefits to Yorkshire's economy. And by integrating not only the topic areas that we look at, but also the people, we're hoping to have a big network of catchment managers within the region that have multiple skill sets. And this, all in all, will help make Yorkshire a better place to live and work in. So we are based up in Yorkshire, mainly the River Ouse drainage basin. So there's a lot of several large tributaries in the area, and they all drain from upland regions down to the lowlands, and they are run through several urban cities, such as Leeds and Sheffield, for example. So although we are regional based, a lot of our outputs could be applied to multiple catchments across the UK. So all the outputs that we have are on our website, and they are usable for anyone who wants to download them. So we are underpinned by our partners. So we work with about 16 different partners in the region. We are partners with 3 main universities, so Leeds, Sheffield and York, and several local councils such as Leeds, Sheffield and Bradford, as well as large water companies, Yorkshire Water, statutory agencies such as the Environment Agency and Natural England, as well as several partners of charities such as the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust. And the aim of these stakeholders is to make sure that all the projects and outputs that we have are usable and they're not just purely an academic exercise. So our stakeholders really steer what projects that we do and the ones that we fund, and then also make sure that the outputs are put through their channels of network so that we can have a wider reach with our communication. So our partnership work is really underpinned by a co-design process. So this is embedded in all of iCASP projects from the start to the finish. So for example, workshops, we have specific topic ideas, we get regional experts in the area to come along to these workshops, and stakeholders and academic researchers, and then produce a project at the end of this that everyone's got to buy into and will actually use. So we have a review process by not only the academic side but also the stakeholder side. So one of my projects has just recently produced a report that the Catchment Rivers Trust are currently reviewing for me to make sure that it's actually usable and that the language that I've used actually makes sense to everyone. So all of our outputs are tailored to stakeholder needs. So we do have the really long reports, but then we also produce webinars, one-page executive summaries, or information that can be fed into business cases, for example. We also allow for secondment, so that's for people to come and either work at the university from stakeholders, or for stakeholders to come, for us to go and work with stakeholders. And that's really important because a lot of different organisations use different language. So if we can get the academics to come and be embedded in organisations, they get an on-the-ground feel of what language people use and what information they actually want to see from their outputs. So we help integrate not only on our topic areas, but then integrating people. So we get lots of different ideas and voices in the room so that we're not just talking to the same faces every meeting. So we've had quite a lot of recent impact, so that we are about 2.5 years through our programme. We've got 2.5 years left, and we've briefed about 30 key people for policies. We've had 18 jobs created in the region, myself included. We've extended our network to about 100 organisations now, and last year we had 30 new organisations join our events. And we've also helped feed into funding for the region, so as we are looking at existing science, a lot of the time our stakeholders help produce gaps in the research, and that feeds into additional research funding, but also for public sector business cases. So we fed into the Leeds Flood Alleviation Scheme, for example. So a lot of our projects are related to catchments, so we've worked on numerous I think it's 18 projects so far, ranging from climate change integration to invasive non-native species to natural flood management. And all of our outputs are on our website, which is icasp.org.uk, so you can go ahead and download everything that's on there. It's freely available for people to use. And I'm going to just talk to you about 2 examples related to natural flood management. So the Don Hidden Heritage Secret Stream project, and then the plug that we had earlier from DREF, looking at the community of practice. So the Don Hidden Heritage Secret Stream project was with the Don Catchment Rivers Trust, and the main aim of that was to help feed into their Hidden Heritage Secret Stream project, which is Heritage Life funded, and we were helping to feed into their land management intervention section, and that had 3 main aims: to help slow the flow, decrease diffuse pollution, and increase landscape connectivity. And it was in the Upper Rother region of the River Don network. So we all know there's lots of data out there. It's often quite hard to find, unless you know where to find it. So one of the main aims of this project was to bring all the existing science and data already available into a GIS data set that the people at the Don Catchment Rivers Trust could actually use, and then to use that information to start targeting where the challenge areas are in the catchment related to those 3 main aims, and produce an opportunity mapping. So with this consolidated evidence base, the maps that we produce on catchment are now able to prioritise where they're going to spend their time in the field to put the interventions in. So we use open access data for this project and open access tools so that it's not hidden behind a paywall or on GIS, which is actually quite expensive for organisations to buy. I just want to draw your attention to the freely available satellite data that we now have. So this is Sentinel-2 data imagery of the Don catchment, and it's freely available from the European Space Agency. And this is actually really important. So we've discussed SciMap already today, and SciMap has 3 main data inputs. So our DEM, our topography of the region, our land use maps, and then also our rainfall data. And the land use maps that a lot of people use, although based on the satellite imagery, are actually a yearly average. In regions where we've got agricultural dominated areas, such as a large portion of Yorkshire, the timing when we have bare land is really important, and those yearly average land use maps don't show that bare land. So by using that freely available satellite imagery data, which not only has a higher resolution, but also can show our bare land, we are able to have a look at seasonal erosion risk. So this is just an example of the Careen and CEH land use maps that a lot of people use, and then the resolution that we can get if we just use satellite imagery data. So this is really important. So if we can feed that information into SciMap, we can start to see how our erosion risk varies throughout the year. So if we are asking land managers to put interventions in, if we can start to show them that it doesn't have to be for the whole year, perhaps people will take more of an uptake of this. So in the upper part of this catchment, you can see that erosion risk varies in January and September. In September, the upper portion of the catchment has a lot lower risk than the rest of the year. We also use SciMap to have a look at the overland flow data that Josh showed earlier. So the deeper the blue here, the more connected to the network this is. And we've started to discuss how some of the research for NFM is not always there. So this tributary synchronization work, if we start to slow the flow in multiple subcatchments, how does that affect the flow downstream? So one of the easiest ways to do this before starting to get into the more in-depth modelling and the crazy equations that exist is to have a look at the Environment Agency's spreadsheet that they have on this about holding the flow back. And you can start to play around with your individual subcatchments and slow the flow by an hour or 2 hours and see what the impact is downstream. So this really just can highlight what subcatchment you should focus on before you do more in-depth modelling that is available to you. And one of the neat things about this project was bringing in habitat connectivity. So habitats are not often brought into natural flood management, with people putting them in for a flood perspective or for a diffuse pollution perspective. But we all know there's multiple benefits out there for NFM. So this was just adding another layer into our GIS analysis to look at habitat connectivity. So again, this is a freely available plugin, and it basically looks at the resistance of your existing land use, your target habitats that you want to join up, and then what's the best route to do that. So would you focus on the low resistance areas where you can connect habitats quickly and will have more of an impact, rather than going for your big cities which have a higher resistance and therefore might not be easy to connect up. So by producing these 3 different types of hotspot maps, we were able to look at opportunity mapping. And all of the opportunities that we put in then had a score out of 3 related to those 3 main aims. And this framework could be extended to look at multiple benefits, so air quality, for example, if you had the data, and just feed that in and build up on your model. So the opportunity maps have been ground-truthed by the Don Catchment Rivers Trust. So obviously a lot of modelling and mapping is limited by the data that you use, and the farmers on land use owners have a higher understanding of their area, so actually going on the ground with these maps helps to increase the uptake. We've had a look at volunteer-led monitoring, so a lot of monitoring is not included in the budget, so this just gives the Don Catchment Rivers Trust an ingredients menu of what they can do if they do put interventions in. And the outputs are just about to be released, hopefully, so we're at the final stages of the review process. And within that, we've actually got a step-by-step methodology of the GIS that I undertook. So it's got screenshots and a flow chart that you can follow within your organisations using that open source data to recreate this for your region. And we've had a talk about how learning can be social as well. So iCASP helped set up the NFM community of practice. And this was really a way to get everyone in the room to help discuss what they've learned from putting their interventions on the ground, but also feeding in the latest environmental science that we have at the universities. We went out to demonstrator sites, for example, so it's not just being stuck in a room, you got to go and have a look at what everyone's done. And we've had multiple topics on funding fairs, for example, monitoring, opportunity mapping, and guides to monitoring again. So this is at the moment being handed over to the Air Rivers Trust, Jeff, and the Environment Agency, who are taking this off of our hands to make sure that it has a longevity beyond the lifespan of iCASP. And it's open for anyone to attend, and all the material from the previous community of practice events is available to download online. So if you just head to our website, there's the resources there that you can download. So in conclusion, partnership work is really important. It allows for the integration of topics, ideas and end goals. iCASP allows for co-design throughout all of its lifespan of the project. And it represents a step change in the way that universities are funding research and the way that research is being used. So there's a wealth of information out there that is ready for people to use, and there's now routes that make it really easy to translate this and have a real life benefit. Thank you very much.